Breaking news, everybody. Why does he keep yelling? Hassan, you man-child, little boy. Why do you keep raising your voice? Does being second best, a title no man your age should care about because you're comparing yourself to mostly kids at this point. Asman is literally laughing off every lie you claim against him. And you even have the nerve to throw out insults when you're creeping on your chat live. I can't believe you did that too. It's like, dude, they're in your chat. They're throwing insults at you, obviously, to gas you up and stuff, right? And you have most likely, hundreds, if not thousands of, you know, members in your chat chatting at once. So for you to pick those out, like, you must be tweaking really hard about like Asmongold and this whole idea of, being compared to a guy who, you know, is the ultimate gamer. It's like you keep watching my videos, you keep lurking on the low, keeping on the DL. It's like hiding behind that VPN. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to like be associated with me either. You know what I mean? Like you're so big. You don't want like the little guy like me, in my opinion, my wholesome, humble, non-commercialized opinion. You know, don't like, comment, and subscribe to me because I just do this for fun. This is fun for me because, like, if somebody comes into my chat and like says something that I don't like, I can just delete it, right? Like, you know, let's say a bot or whatever, right? Like someone trying to sell something or something like that. Um, for you to just be so tilted by it, and you're a multi-million dollar streamer. I mean, you've been spoiled into mainstream media, posting your Islamic bootlicking while pretending to be, dress, and act moderate. You know, it's the ultimate like act that you're trying to pull off. It's like, when I saw Hassan go after that one guy in his chat, it was weird because it's like I knew what I was dealing with. The coward leftists, those who stand for a cause with the help of their inheritance, police, media, judges, false narratives, websites, and like Twitch, etc. All that help, and you're still crying like a bitch. LTG took the name Tear God, but you're about to reclaim that one. Sans of idiot. I was just joking too. Like I made this up, like on a whim because you're going against India, and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you like that character from Prince of Persia taking on all those like, dark skinned Indians? And you just like maneuver through the streets. You're like, oh no, I don't need to like be one of these peasants. I'll just like hang like do parkour off of buildings and stuff. Prince of Turkey, though. You're the Prince of Turkey, Uh, I was just joking too. Playing into it, however, isn't as funny as I thought it would be. Like to be fair, as funny as like the idea of the sands of idiot being a thing where as time goes on, you become more stupid. It's like it's actually kind of you know not as intriguing as I thought it would be. It was like, well, after a while it gets repetitive, but I don't know. Maybe I'm ungrateful. Maybe it is a good thing, because it's like you have people all around you, like acting kind of dumb as well, and trying to basically do what you were doing, which is create like controversy out of nothing. So let's take iDubbbz's wife, right? she's posting on the internet and she's insecure about her body. And yes, I did say that she did look like a possible, like, hardcore drug user or like, whatever, right? And like, I get it. Like, you guys are watching my videos on the DL. You don't you don't like what I said. It's not nice. Uh, yeah, but why'd you get all those tattoos? Why did both of you get all those tattoos? Then? You guys are like the worst role models ever. Like you go on to like appear like moderate and sensible, and you guys look like crazy people. Like all of you, you act, look, and talk like crazy people. It's like Hassan is like possibly the most like controlled out of all of you, but like you all of you talk like you're insane. Like that one guy with the glasses, whose name I keep forgetting for some reason. I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. I'm actually gonna look it up. I'll find it out eventually when I look it up. Well, anyways, where was I? Okay, so yeah. Uh, anyways, Asmon's laughing at, so I'm glad he's having a good time through all of this. But all of that yapping and you gone and cursed Sungrad again. Sungrad, oh no, not him. The mythical, the legendary game designer, Sungrad. That's right. I gotta bring back Sungrad. Bring back Sungrad's name. Bring back the respect. Bring back the respect on his name, the Sungrad name. Because it's like it's not a video. It's not an Azure video. You can't like what I mean. You can't have an Azure video without mentioning Sungrad, the lovely, like lovable guy. That's Sungrad. He cursed me, but then I realized I was the curse. I cursed him, Amaranth, Tear God, and his albino cousin Phil. Most importantly, I cursed Hassan, the hairy prince of Turkey, with the sands of idiot. He moves along the desert like a snake, like one of those sidewinder things, with the belly, and they just like, move on the sand. Making claims against Asman. Like, how are you gonna face this man? Smiling like you're in high school, trying to ignore everything you've said. You've become a content farm, an immature 45-year-old accusing anyone you can of anything. Hysteria is your tool. Truth is subjective. Hassan, you've burned yourself out. This is more like a comical skit than your actual truthful opinion. And I'm not gonna pretend like I know what you think, so don't pretend you can fool me with your sands of idiot. Hassan. How many videos have I made about this guy so far? It's like insane. Like I actually don't want to make videos about him, but he keeps making like content for me to make videos about because it's not necessarily my place to talk about the goings on between him and Asmongold. But I just find it hilarious in the grand scheme of things because of basically Asmongold's top spot. Like I watch the guy all the time. Like he is, the voice of the people. He is the ultimate gamer, and Hassan can't, challenge that. Like in fact, almost all of his recent takes, Asmongold's recent takes, have been extremely moderate to the point where I it's not that I regret, following him and watching him, but I realized that like, eventually his opinions and my opinions will eventually diverge. And that's okay because I don't follow people to make them to like reinforce my own personal bias if you know what I mean. It's like I'm more likely try to like understand things. So like case in point with Asmongold, for me personally, I frowned upon mostly because it's like a monthly subscription service. Like I didn't like MMO games because I saw them as just like, you know, wasteful games for, you know, people who like bad graphics and like, you know, weird gameplay aspects. I just didn't understand it, I guess. And maybe that was my ignorance, but like as time went on, I tried to be more accepting of like all game types, and then I looked into Asmongold, and like I always knew he was gonna be like the World of Warcraft person. So I, you know, tried to understand what I could about the game, and you know, the more and more I like, you know, began to comprehend it, the more I began to see that, you know, he's the type of person that I can like, you know, associate myself with when it comes to like, you know, my gaming opinion. Because if he's willing to go out there and try new things and like, you know, understand, you know, new types of like games and all that stuff, then maybe I should as well. Like for starters, like I subscribe to two gaming review channels, right? Like I don't know if they do anything else, like if they do live streams or whatever, but like Mandalore Gaming and Seth Siege. I'll, it's like it's a weird spelling on that last one, so like I'll have to like, you know, put them both in like the comments or something like that. So to link them both because they like games that are just like out there and stuff. Like what is it? Oh, this underwater game where you like you're in a boat. Oh yeah, the Undersea. Yeah, that's a good game. Well, it's a good game as in like really hard and stuff and challenging, and you have to do a lot of reading. But like, you know, those kinds of games that are just, you know, out there that, you know, I wouldn't normally play. But like, and I bring this up because you have like, excuse me, people who are entering into this space who have no real credentials, so to speak, right? Like people will respect Destiny's opinion because he plays the shit out of, you know, Factorio. But once you understand, like, it's just a mechanism game. Like, I think, I don't know if he would, but I think he will get, like, washed in in most multiplayer online settings. Because of, you know, not just his political stance, but, like, you know, his temperament, his demeanor and stuff. It's like one of those people who, like, play solitaire. As like, you know, a time waster or something like that. I could never do that because, you know, playing multiplayer games like Armored Core is like, you know, legendary. You know, like it's one of those things where, yes, mostly like Hassan, I would raise my voice, especially when I used to play in the beginning. But as I got older and, you know, more wise to the ways of Armored Core, I began to realize that like, ah, you can't win them all. You know what I mean? You just have to take chill. You know, just take a deep breath. And the insanity that ensues from all of this, you know. Because the way Hassan behaved is just going to be echoed by pretty much all of his followers and, like, you know, likewise and all that. And to that, I say, well, we've won. Not necessarily right. I take people with common sense because I don't necessarily view myself 100% as right, and I don't think I'll ever represent any political viewpoint besides my own personal, like, you know, desires, beliefs, wishes. So to that, I said like, they're just gonna keep throwing stuff at everybody that they can get a hold of, and it's just, expect more of the same. Like, you've won, and your enemy is resorting to name calling at this point. And it's actually kind of funny because when you think about it, that is very much the case. They are, using, slurs and like, yeah, basically name calling to discredit people who they disagree with, which I find to be very telling of a side that is knowing of defeat. But anyways, enough about that, because I realized that I've been making these videos way too long, like at 25 minutes, 29, whatever, right? And being new to this format, and I'm probably going to try to do a daily release schedule because I have like pre-recorded stuff already. Most likely I'm going to change it to like a 20, 19, 15-minute video format, depending on like, what I have to say. And the reason why I'm going to this length to tell you this is that I appreciate like everybody who comes out and watches these videos and supports me, just by viewing it. You don't have to hit the like button or comment or whatever, right? But like, what I'm trying to do with these videos is like do the more likely a longer video, lore video for Night Rain, Monster Hunter Wilds, and yeah, that's basically it. Because once Night Rain comes out, it's gonna be what, next week, May 30th, that Friday. That's gonna be fun. Next will be the Lacrycris update for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is all the way in or whenever they're gonna do that. So I have plenty of time for both lore videos, and the lore videos are mostly gonna be like something like a half an hour or more, but just like using footage in both the games. Like I have the excuse me, I have the PlayStation 5 version of Elden Ring, so that's gonna be cool. Fun to get like all the footage from there and stuff, and yeah, that's gonna be fun times for the next 2-3 months, and then I don't know what format will change. Maybe I'll talk more about like philosophical stuff, but I don't know, not really, because doing this like news cycle thing is actually pretty fun, because I also find that when you find that people are just lashing out for absolutely no reason, and you can speculate in almost 100 different directions, and I can just like say this bullshit. Oh, the curse of Azure, right? Like, why wouldn't I just like capitalize on it? And not necessarily for the views or the money. I don't care about that. I mostly care about like like just to get it out there and say, hey, I cursed Hassan Piker with the curse of Azure, and now he has to forever be bound with like attacking people, going crazy, wearing more and more outlandish like outfits and stuff. I also like how whenever people like cover news about him, it's always with the same tone of like I'm not surprised that he's like this type of thing. He's at it again, that good old Hassan doing his bit part. Yeah, that's fun. I think it's cool that like everybody can share it, the fun of having at his expense, especially like Asmongold, who I was actually questioning just the other time, like, when Alyssa Mercante. Oh crap! I didn't say I didn't want to mention her name. Well, there we go. Now I'm part of the alt right here. um, um, but yeah, like when he was like, getting in the controversy with her, it was just pretty much the same, like, type of, insanity where basically, like, unsubstantiated claims were made where the comments insinuated that, these things were meant or not. Like, it's still rather a stretch to, like, take these words as a public figure and, like, try to twist them. So to see Hassan basically doing the exact same thing is kind of not a surprise, if you know what I mean. Like, it's kind of to be expected from both of them now. Like, in fact, from that, from that, from that lady Frogan, cause she fried my brain. I'm gonna fry my brain right now. Fry my brain, trying to remember her name. Don't worry, Frogan. I use ice cubes. But yeah, like they're all like to be expected. This kind of behavior over and over again, like ad nauseum. And I think like to subscribe to that is to like I think Technome said it the best. Like what kind of like audience would they have? Like you know what I mean? And as much as I'd like to think that like every single member of their audience is like 100% loyal to them, maybe just some of them are just like gassing them up like they're kids or something, and they're just like they know that these are like adults who have no control, and it's just like Unk is just like off his meds or something, and then they're just like and playing into the whole thing because this whole thing like has this childish air of like like it just has no serious tone to it, like the way that even though Asmongold is being accused of hating on Mexicans now for some reason. I don't know why. But oh, because this Mexican oh this is the funniest part. So I went into this like, twice before, but I'll go into it one more time. So like yeah, so this Mexican guy is like basically pushing as I mean Hassan, like, pushing his buttons and stuff, like saying all these like things to piss him off on purpose. And then like, Hassan, basically not only does he take the bait, he just like goes in on the guy and he's streaming while he's doing this, and it's just like, what are you doing, buddy? You're going into his profile now? You're on you how many people watch your stuff? How many people restream your stuff even? Like this is gonna make news. And like everything, like he's exposing this kid or whatever, like he's such a goof, man. It's not like, dude, you're 45 years old. Like, I want to put it by me that this kid is like less than half your age. Because if you take like something like 19 plus 19, it's still only 38, man. That's still younger than me. Oh my goodness, man. You're like half your age, and you're just like getting tilted by this kid. But that's where we are in politics. And I had to make this video. It's like breaking news, like Hassan has been cursed. See, he got like, pissed off that I predicted that he's gonna get a switch and he's gonna get bricked because of all his political stances. Like, see, this is what I mean too. Like, no matter what, it's just destiny to get the Switch 2, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, Hassan, please play these games," and his face turns red. Because he knows the day comes when he says those things. His hairy finger presses the C button, and then his system gets bricked. Game over, Hassan. Game over.